of the contraction and expansion of world cycle. That means destruction and then reforming or rebirth of the world cycle. So this is the Buddhist or Theravada Buddhist cosmology. So paragraph 28 says, herein one birth is the continuity of aggregates, included in a single becoming, starting with rebirth, linking and ending with death. So one birth means one life, so beginning with relinking and ending with death. So too with two births and the rest. So when a monk gets this direct knowledge, then he can remember one birth, two births, three births, and so on. But in the case of many eons of world contraction, etc., it should be understood that the eon of world contraction is an eon of diminution. Actually, it is the destruction of the world, and the eon of world expansion is an eon of increase, that is beginning or reforming of the world. Herein, what supersedes the contraction is included. So, what is the meaning of this word supersedes? To replace?
Partially. It's like it's foremost. It would come first.
Right. Take the place of the important.
But
it's more important than.
I see. No, it is not meant here. What is meant here is just which follows. So what follows the contraction? So there are 4 periods. The world being destroyed, and then remaining in the destroyed state, and then reforming, becoming a new world, and then remaining as a new world. So there are four periods. So what supersedes the contraction means what follows the contraction is included in the contraction, since it is rooted in it. That means because it comes after it. And so do what follows the expansion is included in the expansion. So we get 4 of the world eons, for 4 incalculables of the eon. And what for the contraction, what follows the contraction, the expansion, comma, and what follows the expansion. So therefore, they are called incalculables because there is no saying of how long, how many years they are, say, millions and millions of years. Here and there are 3 kinds of contraction. That means destruction. So destruction due to water, destruction due to fire, and destruction due to air. So there are 3 causes of destruction of the world. Also there are 3 limits to the contraction, the destruction. The Abhasara, streaming radiance Brahma world, that of Subhakina, refulgent glory, and that of the Vihapala, great fruit. When the eon contracts owing to fire, all below Abhasara Brahma world is burnt up by fire. When it contracts owing to water, it is all dissolved by water up to the Subhakina. When it contracts owing to air, it is all demolished by wind up to the Vihapala Brahma world. So if you look at this chart, you find these worlds. So this is the diagram of the 31 planes of existence taught in Buddhism and Abhidhamma. So at the bottom we have number 1 Niraya, that is hell, and then 2, 3, 4 Tirachana. Number 2 is animal kingdom. Number 3 is hungry ghost, and number 4 is Asura. They are a kind of ghost, but not the same as the number 3. And then as far as Manusa, human beings, So above human beings there are six deva worlds. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And above the deva world are the Brahma worlds. So the first plane is called the first jhana world. So there is number 1 Brahma Parisajya, number 2 Brahma Purohita, and number 3 Maha Brahma. The next one 4, 5, 6. These 3 are called second jhana planes. And then 7, 8, 9 third jhana planes. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 fourth jhana planes. So when the world is destroyed by fire, there are 3 limits. The Abhasara Brahma world is the limit. So when the world is destroyed by fire, it destroyed the first three first jhana worlds. So 1, 2, 3. So Abhasara is the limit there. And then when it is destroyed by water, and 4, 5, 6 are also destroyed. So its limit is Subhakena. And when the world is destroyed by air, it goes up to means just reaching Vihapala number 10. So these three planes, the first jhana plane, second jhana plane, third jhana plane. So the first jhana plane, up to the first jhana plane is destroyed by fire. Up to the second jhana plane, I mean including the seventh jhana plane, by water, and up to including the third jhana plane, destroyed by air or wind. Then the upper worlds are not destroyed when the lower world is destroyed. In breath, it is always one of the Buddha fields that is destroyed. So there are 3 Buddha fields. But the Buddha fields are of 3 kinds. That is the field of birth, the field of authority, and the field of scope. The field of birth is limited by 10,000 world spheres. That means 10,000 something like universes that quaked on the perfect ones, taking rebirth, linking, and so on. So it is said that when Buddha takes conception in his mother's womb, then the 10,000 world spheres quake, they shake or tremble. And at his birth, at his enlightenment, and so on. So these are called the field of birth. And the second is the field of authority. The field of authority is limited by 100,000 million. That is not right. A million.
A billion.
No. I don't know what to call that. A million. Not 10,000 million. I mean 100,000 million. Wall spheres where the following safeguards means just paraders, chantings, efficacious. That means the power of the paraders spread to all these a million wall spheres. So you recite parada here, and the power of parada will pervade the whole of these a million wall spheres. And that is the Ratana Sudha. That is a jewel Sudha. And the Khanda Sudha. Khanda Sudha is for snake bite and so on. And then the Jagas Parita, and it is found in Sanyutta Nikaya. It is when you are afraid of something, you recite the Jaga Sutta. And then Atanadiya Parita is found in Diga Nikaya, and that is for protection against ghosts, demons, and so on. And the Mora Parita, and that is protection against being imprisoned or something. Mora means a peacock. So when Buddha was reborn as a peacock, the hunters tried to snare him, and it is said that he recited this surah, and so he was able to escape being caught for many years. The field of scope is boundless. So the third field is boundless, immeasurable. So we cannot say there are million wall spheres or whatever. So that is boundless. As far as he wishes, it is said. The perfect one knows anything, anywhere that he wishes. So one of these three Buddha fields, that is to say, the field of authority is destroyed. So when the world is destroyed, the field of authority is destroyed. That means a million wall spheres. But when that is being destroyed, the field of birth also gets destroyed because it is included in the field of authority. And that happens simultaneously at the same time. And when it is reconstituted, that happens simultaneously. So these wall cycles, the field of authority are destroyed at the same time and reconstituted at the same time. Now it should be understood how its destruction and reconstruction come about thus. Now this is Buddhist genesis. So on the occasion when the aeon is destroyed by fire and so on, so whenever you see 100,000 million, please correct it to a million. There's a great downpour all over a million world spheres. People are delighted and they bring out all their seeds and sow them. But when the sprouts have grown enough for an ox to graze, then not a drop of rain falls anymore, even when asses bray. What's that?
I think donkeys, when it's about to rain or something, they make a sound, and even when that happens, it doesn't rain, I guess.
Actually, he misunderstood the Pali idiom here. One Pali said is, the rain braying the bray of asses. That means making noise as the asses do. That means there is thunder maybe.
Oh.
But no, not a drop of rain falls. So the noise of thunder may be similar to those made by asses, donkeys. So no rain fall, and the rain is withheld from then on. That is what the Blessed One referred to when he said, and this is found in Anguttara Nikaya. So Gradual Sayings, Volume 4, page 64, and that Sutta, in that Sutta, Buddha talked about seven suns rising at the end of the world. And then in the paragraph 34, about 1 to 3 lines, deities come to know that at the end of 100,000 years there will be the emergence of an eon. Actually, destruction of an eon, not emergence. Destruction of an eon, and they travel up and down the haunts of men, their heads bared and so on. And also about 4 or 5 lines down, another emergence there. So they make this announcement, good sirs, at the end of 100,000 years from now there will be the destruction of an eon. So human beings and earth deities hear their words, they mostly are filled with the sense of urgency. They become kind to each other again and make marriage with loving kindness, etc. And so they are reborn in the divine world. So at the end of the world, every being dies and then reborn in a Brahma world. There they eat divine food and they do the preliminary work on the air, kasina and acquire jhana. So first they are reborn in the Deva world, and then from there they are reborn in the Brahma world. Others are reborn in a sense sphere divine world through karma to be experienced in a future life. For there is no being traversing the round of rebirth who is destitute of karma to be experienced in a future life. That means there may be some being who could not do anything to be reborn in that life, say, to be reborn as a deva or as a deva. But every being has a store of karma in the past, and so as a result of that store of karma, they are all reborn in the deva world, and then from the deva world they go up to the Brahma world. So since the world is to be destroyed, all the human world, animal world, and then deva world, even the Brahma world is to be destroyed, beings have to be reborn out of reach of this destruction. So it is said that every being will be ultimately reborn, and being just before the destruction of the world will be reborn in the Brahma world. So let us say there was a proclamation that in 100,000 years the world is to be destroyed, and so people got afraid, and so they become good to each other, they practice meditation, and they will be reborn as devas, and then from that they will be reborn in Brahmas. So at the end of a long period after the withholding of the rain, a second sun appears, then the second sun appears. And this is described by the Blessed One in the very beginning, the same sutta. Satta Surya means seven suns. So the name of that sutta is Satta Surya Sutta. So Satta means seven, Surya means sun. So 7 suns. Now when that has appeared, there is no more telling night from day. As one sun sets, the other rises. So there's always day and no night. The world is uninterruptedly scorched by the sun. And then, but there is no sun deity in the eon destruction sun, as there is in the ordinary sun. So Buddhists believe that there are guardian deities of the sun, of the moon, and so on. That is the natural sun. But the second sun which arises here for the destruction of the world, that there is no guardian deity. Now when the ordinary sun is present, thunder clouds and mere still vapor, what's that? Across the sky. Is it a usual expression in English? I cannot find the Pali word for this English word in the original.
They are like the wispy clouds.
Yeah, Dhuma Sika. That means, yes, Dhuma means vapor or smoke.
Poetic license.
Okay. So, beginning with the rivulets, the water in all the rivers except the 5 great rivers dries up. So, when the second sun comes up, water in the small rivers dries up, but not in the 5 great rivers, because they are talking about India, and so it is believed that in India there are 5 great rivers: the Ganges, Yamuna or Jumna, Sarabu, Saraswati, and Mahi. These are the 5 great rivers. So for America it would be Mississippi. So the water in these 5 great rivers or great rivers have not yet dried up. Then after that, at the end of a long period, so it will go on a long period, long time, a third sun appears. And when that has appeared, the great rivers dry up too. So, third sun, fourth sun, fifth sun, sixth sun. And then, what happens when the seventh sun arises? And a million world spheres are the same as this one. After that, at the end of a long period, the seventh sun appears. And when that has appeared, the whole world sphere together with the million other world spheres catches fire. So when the seventh sun arises, then everything catches fire. Even the summits of Sineru, that means Meru, the mountain believed to be at the center of the world cycle. 100 leagues or more high, crumble and vanish into space. The conflagration mounts up and invades the realm of the four kings. That means devas. When it has burned up all the golden palaces, the jewel palaces and the crystal palaces there, it invades the realm of the 33. And so it goes right on up to the plane of the first jhana. When it has burned 3 lower Brahma worlds, it stops there at the Abhasara world. As long as any formed thing, that means anything, the size of an atom still exists, it does not go out. But it goes out when all formed things have been consumed. So nothing was left. And like the flame that burns ghee and oil, it leaves no ash.
The sutra that this is from, is it authority is generally based as the other sutras?
Yes, it is equally authoritative as other sutras, but not all mentioned here are from the Sutta. In the Sutta, Buddha said that at some time there will appear the second sun, third sun, and so on. But the details are filled in by the commentators. So they may or may not be the explanation given by the Buddha, but maybe they are filled. They are added later by the commentators. So the world goes on like that. So the upper space is now all one with the lower space in a vast, gloomy darkness. So there was all darkness. And then at the end of a long period, a great cloud arises, and at first it rains gently, and then it rains with ever heavier deluges, like lotus stems, like rods, like vessels, like palm trunks, more and more. And so it pours down upon all the burnt ashes in the 100,000 million, a million world spheres till they disappear. Then the winds, forces beneath and all around that water rise up and compact it and round it like water drops on a lotus leaf. How do they compact the great mass of water? By making gaps, for the wind makes gaps in it here and there. So this is the reconstitution of the world. So the world was destroyed, and it remains in the destroyed state for so many eons. And then the world formed again. So when the world, at the beginning of the forming of the world, there was a great rain. And then it pours down upon all the burnt ashes and areas in the million world spheres, and then the water was formed by the air into something like a ball. So round it means make the water round, like water drops on a lotus leaf. Now, being thus compressed by the air, compacted and reduced, it gradually subsides and it sinks. The lower Brahma world reappears in its place. So it is the beginning of the world again. Then the beings that were reborn first in the Brahma world of streaming radiance fall from there with the exhaustion of their lifespan. So the first beings in the present world were those who fell from, that means who died in the streaming radiance realm of Brahmas and then reborn here on the earth. So they were the first human beings in the present world, fall from there with the exhaustion of their lifespan, and when their merit is exhausted, and they reappear here. They are self-luminous and wandering in the sky. So they are said to be self-luminous because there were no suns and no sun and moon yet, but they have radiance of their own, and so they go about with that radiance. and they wander in the sky and they can fly in the sky. On eating the essential humus, as is told in the Agganya Sutta, this is Sutta number 27 of the dialogues of the Buddha. They are overcome by craving. That means there is something like a cream on the earth. So when you boil milk, then you get cream on it. Something like a cream on the earth. And so one man he was curious about that, and so he took some of it and tasted it. And then the taste was very good, it is said. So they were overcome by craving. And then they busied themselves in making lumps of it to eat. So then their self-luminosity vanishes. So this is the downfall of human beings. Then it is dark. They are frightened when they see the darkness. Then in order to remove their fears and give them courage, the sun's disk appears full 50 leagues across. So the sun is said to be 50 leagues across, about 400 miles across. And they are delighted to see it, thinking, we have light. And they say, it has appeared in order to allay our fears and give us courage, Surabhava. So let it be called sun, Surya. So the Pali word, in the word Pali word Surya, Sura means to be courageous. So Surya means that which gives courage. So when the sun appears, there was light, and so people were not afraid. So the sun was called Surya. So they give it the name sun or Surya. Now when the sun has given light for a day, it sets. Now it goes off. Then they are frightened again, thinking we have lost the light we had, and they think, how good if we had another light. As if knowing their thought, the moon's disk appears 49 leagues across. So the difference between the sizes of the moon and the sun is only 1 league. Because if you look from here, they appear just the same size.
Because the moon is closer.
On seeing it, they are still more delighted, and they say, it has appeared seeming as if it knew our desire, Chanda. So let it be called moon, Chanda. So Chanda is changed to Chanda. So they give it the name moon to that thing. So moon is called Chanda in Pali. And so it is the word derived from Chanda. Chanda means desire. So to fulfill the desire of the people, the moon disk appears. So the moon is called desire, something like that, Chanda. After the appearance of moon and sun in this way, the stars appear in their constellations. After that, night and day are made known, and in due course the month, half the season and the year. On the day the moon and sun appear, the mountains of Siniru means Meru, the central mountain of the world sphere, and of Himalaya appear too. So on the day the moon and sun appear, the mountains and all this appear too. So they appear on the full moon day of the month of Phaguna or March, neither before nor after. So March is something like the beginning of the appearance of sun and moon and mountains and rivers.
Is that also the end of the rainy season in India?
No, it is summer there. March is the beginning of summer. It's very hot.
So, but what is the rainy season?
Rainy season begins about, let me see, rains come about May. Yeah. Although we do not call it rainy season yet. Now, how? Just as when millet is cooking and bubbles arise, then simultaneously some parts are domed, some hollow, and some flat. So too there are mountains in the dome places, seas in the hollow places, and continents, islands in the flat places. And then as these beings make use of essential humours, gradually some become handsome and some ugly. So now they eat something, and so their appearances become different. The handsome ones despise the ugly ones. Owing to their contempt, the essential humus vanishes. Now that cream vanishes, and outgrowth from the soil appears, another thing appears for them. Then that vanishes in the same way, and the badalada creeper appears, some kind of a creeper, maybe sweet creeper. And that too vanishes in the same way, and the rice without red powder or husk that ripens without tilling appears. So rice appears. You don't have to till, you don't have to, take off the husk. So just ready-made. A clean, sweet-smelling rice fruit. Then vessels appear. They put the rice into the vessels, which they put on the tops of stones. A flame appears. They don't have to make fire. The fire just appears automatically, spontaneously, and cooks it. The cooked rice resembles jasmine flowers. It has no need of sauces and curry, since it has whatever flavor they want to taste. It's very good, right? As soon as they eat this gross food, urine and excrement appear in them. Then both orifices break, and then male and female appear, and so on and so on. So this is the beginning of the world, according to the teachings of the Buddha. So, and then after that, some people, at that time they do not store anything. Whenever they want, they just go to the trees and then pluck the fruits and eat it. But later on, there was a lazy man, and so he stored something. So when they stored, then the fruits on the tree disappear and so on. So to gradually deteriorate. So when people stole something, say some people stole something of other persons, and so there was unruliness. They met together and elected a person to be their king, and that person happened to be our Bodhisattva. Since he was recognized by the majority, he was called Mahasammata. So that man, that king, was called Mahasammata. Sammata means recognized or agreed to by all people. Since he was lord of the fields, Kita means field, he was called Khattiya. So Khattiya means the warrior caste, warrior noble. Since he promoted others' goods, Ranjedi, righteously and equitably, he was a king. Now the Pali word for king is Raja, and here it is derived from the root Ranja, that means to please. So a king is a person who pleases his people. Promoted others' goods means just he made people pleased, so that he is called a Raja, a king. So Bodhisattva was called Mahasammata or Khattiya or Raja. And that is how he came to be known by these names. For the Bodhisattva himself is the first man concerned in any wonderful innovation of the world. So after the Khattiya circle had been established by making the Bodhisattva the first in this way, the Brahmins and the other castes were founded in due succession. Buddhism does not recognize the supremacy of the Brahmin caste. So in Buddhist books you'll find the warrior caste put above the Brahmin caste. But in Hinduism, Brahmins come first, the warrior caste second. They have a stratification of human society into four, right? Priests or Brahmin, kings or warriors, warrior kings, and merchants, and ordinary people. So, now 55. The period from the time of the great cloud heralding the aeon's destruction up till the ceasing of the flames constitutes one incalculable, and that is called the contraction. So that is destruction period. And from the ceasing of flames of the eon destruction up till the great cloud of rehabilitation, so that rains down upon the million world spheres, constitutes the second incalculable, and that is called what follows the contraction. That from the time of the great cloud of rehabilitation up till the appearance of the moon and sun constitutes the third incalculable, and that is called the expansion. That from the appearance of moon and sun up till the reappearance of the great cloud of eon destruction is the fourth incalculable, and that is called what supersedes the expansion. So we are in this age, the fourth age. These four incalculables make up one great eon. This firstly is how the destruction by fire and reconstitution should be understood. And then destruction by water. Now, it's interesting here. There is this difference, however. While in the former case a second sun appeared, in this case a great cloud of caustic waters appears, like acid rain. It could be acid rain because it destroys everything. And so when the world is destroyed by water, it destroys up to the three second jhana planes, so including the 3 second jhana planes. And when it is destroyed by air, then it includes the 3 third jhana planes. And then in paragraph 64, the author gives the reason for the world's destruction. Why is the world why is there destruction of the world? And the 3 roots of the unprofitable are the reasons. Lobha, dosa and moha are the reasons. When any one of the roots of the unprofitable becomes conspicuous, the world is destroyed accordingly. When greed is more conspicuous, it is destroyed by fire. When hate is more conspicuous, it is destroyed by water. Though some say that it is destroyed by fire when hate is more conspicuous and by water. So there is a difference of opinion. And when delusion is more conspicuous, it is destroyed by wind. Destroyed as it is in this way, it is destroyed for 7 times. Now there are three causes of destruction, right? Fire, water, and air. So the turn for them is 7 times by fire, and the 8th time by water, and then another 7 times by fire, and the 8th time by water, and so on until you reach the 64th. So the 64th world is destroyed by air. So it is 7 times by fire, 1 time by water, then 7 times fire, 1 time water, 7 times fire, 1 time water, and so on. So when you reach the 64th one, then that is the turn of air. So that is explained in paragraph 65. So the person who possesses this direct knowledge sees all these world spheres. Now, when a bhikkhu capable of recollecting eons is recollecting his former life, then of such eons as these he recollects many eons of world contraction, many eons of world expansion, many eons of world contraction and expansion, and how in the way beginning there I was, and so on. So there I was reborn as something, and then from having such a name, belonging to such a clan, and so on. So named, such 4 names as Tesa or Pusa, of such a race, that means of Kachana, or Kasapa. Actually, race here means clan, like family names. So Kasapa or Kachana are family names. This is said of the recollection of his own name and race or surname in his past experience. But if he wants to recollect his own appearance at that time, or whether his life was a rough or refined one, or whether pleasure or pain was prevalent, or whether his lifespan was short or long, he recollects that too. And so with such an appearance and so on. And with such an appearance means fair or dark. Such was my food, and these are all details. And passing away from there, I reappeared elsewhere. So wherever he is reborn, he could remember his past life by the power of this direct knowledge. And then paragraph 70 says, furthermore, the words and so on. So it explains in another way the phrases like, there I was reborn, and passing away from there, I was reborn and I appeared elsewhere, and then I appeared here, and so on. Now, the first explanation takes the text to be in general. That means, if it is said that, say, I was reborn, and then from there, passing away from there, I reappeared elsewhere, and so on. You can take any life, or any eon in any life. But in the second explanation, beginning with paragraph 70, it is said that that monk goes back gradually from one life to another. So it goes back, and then he may stop anywhere he likes, and then come back again. So that is what is meant here. There I was referred to the recollection of one who has cast back retrospectively. That means go back gradually, one by one, as far as he wishes, and the words and passing away from there refers to the reviewing after turning forward again. So suppose you go back from this life, let us say this life is number 1, then you go back from this life to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on. And then when you reach, say 10, then you come back again, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Consequently, the words I appeared elsewhere can be understood to be said with reference to the place of his reappearance next before his appearance here. That means if this life is said to be 1, then the life before it is said to be 2, something like that. So passing away from there refers to the second life from this life. I mean, going backward. And I appeared elsewhere can be understood to be said with reference to the I appeared elsewhere means I appeared in the immediately past life. And the words there too I was, etc. are said in order to show the recollection of his name, race, etc. there in the place of his reappearance next before his appearance. So in the second explanation, say, there I was reborn and so named refers to, say, the third, fourth, fifth, or and so on in the past. And then I reappeared elsewhere refers to the second life from this life. And then I reappeared here means I was reborn in this life. So this life, immediate past life, and then former past lives. So anywhere he wants to remember, he can remember. Thus, so with its aspects and particulars and so on. So this is the recollection of past lives. The next one is divine eye, knowledge of passing away and reappearance of beings. They are together here. So by this by this knowledge, direct knowledge, a person, if he possesses this the knowledge, can see beings passing away from one existence and being reborn in another existence. The text is given here in full, taken from Digha Nikaya. Now, about the bottom of the page, the words in italics, to the knowledge of the passing away and reappearance. Chutupa pata jnanaya, tutiyaja, upapadeja jnanaya, resolution of compound. So they cannot be translated. The meaning is, for the kind of knowledge by means of which beings passing away and reappearance is known. So by this direct knowledge, one can see beings dying from one life and then being reborn in another life. And the paragraph 73 gives the definition of the word divine, or the Pali word diva.